Hey traders, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're diving deep into a tool that could totally change the way you look at the markets. It's called RSI support and resistance breakouts with order blocks. Quite a mouthful, I know, but don't worry. I'll break it down in the simplest way possible. This tool is like a compass that shows you hidden zones of support and resistance, but here's the twist, it works off the RSI dynamically. And trust me, once you understand how it works, you'll never look at market structure the same way again. So sit back, relax, and let's get into it. So, first things first, what is this tool? This isn't your typical RSI indicator. Nope, it's a simplified way of spotting market squeezes and breakouts, but instead of just reacting to price movements, this one calculates real-time RSI behavior and finds hidden zones where the market has reacted in the past. We're talking about those invisible spots where price gets rejected or breaks through, and then either rallies hard or crashes down. Now, what makes it so unique? Most RSI indicators just bounce between 30 and 70, right? This one, totally different. It adapts. It tracks how the RSI behaves in relation to market structure and shows you actual zones where something interesting is happening. These aren't just random lines. These are places where price got smacked, where buyers or sellers stepped in. Real powerful zones. And it brings in one of the most underrated concepts in trading, order blocks. These are basically institutional footprints, where the big players leave clues. Alright, let's talk structure. In a ranging market, there are two types of zones this tool helps you see clearly: external and internal. Let's break down. External zones. These are the big ones. The highest high, the lowest low, the edges of the range. This is where price reaches, hesitates, and either fakes out or blows through. These zones are magnets for liquidity, meaning retail traders like us often get caught here. Internal zones. Now this is where things get spicy. The internal zone is where the market consolidates, where the most activity happens. It's the highest and lowest closing price within the range. That's your real squeeze zone. And hidden inside here, that's where we find the order blocks. Let's keep it moving. There's also a 200-period smooth moving average added to this setup. Why? Because it helps smooth out noise, but more importantly, it adds trend context to the RSI. So your zones become smarter, more in tune with the bigger picture. You're no longer trading against the trend without knowing it. Okay, at first glance, these zones might look tiny. You might think, wait, that's it. That little box. Yeah, that little box. But here's where the tool gets clever. The zones extend forward in time. Order block zones go 40 bars forward. Range zones go up to 80 bars. This helps you see how price interacts with those zones long after they're formed. Because sometimes it takes time for the market to come back and react. So yeah, those small zones, they matter a lot. Now let's dig a little deeper into those two zone types. External zones again, those are your liquidity traps. Price might break out, only to reverse. Classic fakeouts. But here's the trick. If price closes above an external resistance zone, that's a pretty solid bullish confirmation. Same with support zones. A close below confirms bearish momentum. Internal zones, these are your bread and butter. If a fresh internal zone hasn't been touched yet, it's hot, a strong level. But if it's been hit 2, 3, 4 times, it's probably weak. It loses respect. Always pay attention to how many times a zone has been tested. Let's talk order blocks. Imagine price formed an untouched internal zone during consolidation. Later, price returns to that zone. And bam, massive rejection. That's the kind of thing this tool helps you spot before it happens. But if that same zone gets hit again and again, eventually price just walks through it. No respect. So the rule is, fresher zones are stronger zones. There's another feature I love, the zone overlay. Once price starts trending, new zones stop printing. But the old ones? They stay on your chart as a sort of map. And this map can show where future traps will form, where price might stall or reverse, and where the next big move could come from. Super useful for swing trading. Now let's talk fakeouts, because this tool helps you catch them in action. Say price returns to the top of a range. Everyone's expecting a breakout, but what happens? Price pokes above, triggers some longs, and then drops hard. That's a resistance fakeout. Same thing on the downside. Price dips under support, traps shorts, and then rockets back up. This tool shows you these zones so you can prepare. And remember, it's not the wick that matters. It's the close. Only a confirmed close above or below the zone tells you a real breakout has happened. There's also something called the midline equilibrium. This is the center of the zone, the point of control where most of the volume occurs. If price crosses this midline too many times in both directions, that order block becomes invalid. It's no longer respected by the market. So watch the midline closely. Now here's where the tool gets super visual. It uses bar coloring to help you spot breakouts instantly. Bullish color? That means price broke out above the range. Bearish color? Broke below the range. A unique squeeze color? That means a tight range is forming, even if no zone is fully drawn yet. This gives you real-time feedback, no guesswork. Let's go over the latest updates real quick. Zones now extend independently. You can set different lengths for order blocks and ranges. Only zones with real order blocks inside are drawn. The minimum RSI value is now locked at 4 to prevent noise. All this means cleaner charts and better signals. Alright, let's wrap it up. This tool gives you an edge, not by predicting the future, but by helping you understand where the market is likely to react, and when a move is real or fake. You'll start to see how price respects certain zones, rejects others, and sets traps that pull in weak traders. So try this out. Watch how price reacts around these zones. Don't just trade breakouts, trade smart breakouts. And always ask, is this a real move or a trap? This tool will help you answer that question. If you found this helpful, give it a like, hit that subscribe button, and drop a comment below if you want me to break down more tools like this. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, stay sharp and trade smart.